Hello and welcome to Tim Conley Drums. Well, today I want to talk about the current 2025, April 2025 state of the music business in Ontario as a working, living professional musician. I'm going to tell you right now that there are bands working. There's lots of bands that are out there working, but they're barely making any money. I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. The state of the scene is at an all-time low, in my opinion. Less people are going out. With what's been going on in the world with all these tariffs and all these crazy scares that have been going on, and just the economy as it sits right now, less people are going out and seeing live music. It's just a fact. And also, people are not buying tickets to go and see big name bands because the tickets are so outrageously expensive. So you would think, with the cost of, let's say, The Weeknd, for example, is coming to town. Well, you want to go and see The Weeknd, you're looking at $500 a ticket. So two people go to see him, it's $1,000. And that's on the nosebleed end. If you actually want decent tickets, you're looking at $1,000, $1,200 a ticket. I know that Taylor Swift was just in town a little while ago. I don't know, like 4 or 5, 6 months ago. And those tickets were outrageously priced. People were complaining like crazy about the price. And so you would think that, okay, the big stars come to town, they're outrageously priced. People still pay it, people still go, but you would think that that would be the opposite situation, that people just say, I'm not paying that. Now, a lot of people aren't. A lot of people are not paying that. I would only pay $1,200 to see an artist if it was an artist that I have been dying to see. Let's say the Beatles. The Beatles reunited. Somehow John is reborn, George is reborn. They're in their prime, and the Beatles come back and we get a chance to travel in time to see them. I'd pay $1,200 for that. But of course, that's just a fantasy. The reality is personally, I'm not willing to pay that kind of money to see The Weeknd, Taylor Swift, none of that. I'm not interested in any of that kind of music. But lots and lots of people are. They're willing to pay top dollar. Now, for those of us that say, I'm not paying that kind of money, you would think then that the lower band level scene would be quite active. Unfortunately, in Ontario right now, it's not. People are just not turning out to see bands like they used to. Now, there are some really great tribute bands, of which I'm actively a part of the tribute band scene. There are some great tribute bands that people are willing to go and see. And I know that the Neil Young tribute band that I was playing in, people were actually saying to us at the show that it was better than seeing Neil in his prime. So what an amazing compliment, you know. Andrew, who plays Neil in the Neil Young tribute band that I was playing in, I'm not currently playing in the band, but I was playing in them. He does a fantastic job, and it's worth the money. It's not very expensive. I think tickets to go and see that show, that tribute band, are between $25 to $35. That's a very, very reasonable price. Now, I realize it's not Neil, it's a tribute band. But I'm going to tell you that I've played in some really, really terrific tribute bands. There's another tribute band going around that I'm familiar with, and I'm friends with the bass player, Sean Nerona, in the band. And it's an INXS tribute with J.D. Fortune, the actual singer from INXS. After the original singer passed away, committed suicide, INXS, of course, took a break. Then they did a TV show to find a new singer for INXS, and JD got the job, an Oakville boy. He got the job, and he toured with them. Unfortunately, he had some problems with drug addiction, typical for a rock star. And that whole thing ended, and INXS decided to retire. But JD's now got a tribute band. I think it's called INXS Rocks. I think that's what it's called. And it's apparently doing really well. Now, like I said at the beginning, there are bands that are working. But what are they working for? 400 bucks a night? 500 bucks a night? It's chump change. It's a complete waste of time. To play a gig is a 12-hour requirement. That's not including all the practicing that you have to do to prepare, all the rehearsing that the band has to do, practicing on your own, in some cases writing out charts, and that takes time. Then you got band rehearsal. So forget about the band rehearsal and the practice and all that goes into preparing for the show. The actual day of the show is a 12-hour day. Driving there, loading the gear, driving there, parking, unloading the gear, setting everything up, playing the show, packing up after, loading it into the vehicle again, driving home, and then unloading it out of your vehicle. We're talking 12 plus hours. For $100? Are you kidding me? That's worse than being in a job situation where you're getting paid minimum wage. Now, there have been calls I've seen petitions and stuff to get musicians a minimum working wage. I'm all for that. Minimum. The only problem with that is once you establish a minimum, I know venue owners, they will not want to increase your pay. This is the minimum and this is what you get. The only way to increase your pay is to sell tickets, and you make money off of the tickets. Of course, the venue makes money too, but you make money off tickets. So a lot of tribute bands will do this. If they play a bar, they'll have a set wage for the night. Let's say it's 400 bucks. I'm just throwing a number out there. And then they sell tickets. Say the tickets are $20, 60% goes to the venue, 40% goes to the band. Sometimes if you got a good venue, you'll get a 50-50 split, but it's usually 60-40. Okay, so let's say you sell $20 tickets. Let's say you sell 100 tickets. Okay, 100 tickets, not bad. 100 times 20. Then you divide that up with the 60 and the 40. And then out of that 40%, let's say there's 5 guys in the band. Well, 5 guys have to be divided up amongst that 40%. So once again, it's really not that much money. It really isn't. Now, if you're in a tribute band that's very successful and you're playing theaters, you're going to make more money. You're probably going to make $300 to $500 a show. That's decent. I mean, that's my minimum. My minimum is $300 a show. And I think that that's a fair price for what the bands that I play in bring to the table. I try to get $300 for everybody. Not easy. Now, the gigs have just dried up in terms of, oh, I'm just going to do corporate gigs. Well, it's very, very difficult because corporations just don't really have private functions the way they used to for their employees. So it's much, much harder to get gigs. Now, I have to admit, there have been some gig offers come my way in the US, but with the recent climate, I've just turned them all down. I'm just not interested at this particular time until things settle down in crossing the border. I've heard about cars being damaged with Canadian plates across the border in Buffalo and in Detroit and stuff like that. And I just don't want to risk having my vehicle damaged over stupidity. I'm just a working musician. Plus, to get a P2 visa to cross the border now is a huge hassle with what's been happening with the government and how they've changed. The American government has changed their view on Canadians crossing into their country. So it's made it much harder for working musicians to cross into the US to perform. So rather than deal with that hassle, I just avoid it. So now I'm left to just working in Canada. And while the scene still exists, like I said, it's very low paying. There's not a lot of corporate gigs. The odd wedding gig, again, wedding gigs, people don't hire bands like they used to. They hire a DJ. That's the way more common thing. So let's say you have 10 weddings, maybe 1 out of 10. And I'm probably wrong, probably 1 out of 20 hire a band. The other 19 hire a DJ because it's cheaper and it's easier and they can get the variety of music that they want and they don't have to deal with and feed an additional 4 or 5 people. Now, it's still common to hire someone to sing, play guitar, and or harp or piano or something like that for the procession. That's still a normal thing in weddings, and musicians are still getting work that way. But as far as bands go that play for the party aspect of the wedding, the reception, that is unfortunately a dying art. So what do we do as musicians? Well, what can you do? I just keep trying to book the band into decent gigs, and it's getting harder and harder. I mean, let me know what you guys think. If you guys are in band situations that are making 300 or more a gig, does it exist? Is it out there? Are you guys doing it? I mean, I like to work for 300, but I'm very limited as to what I can get. Yeah, I can get lots of gigs working for $100 a night, but I made $100 a night in 1985 when I was 20 years old. That was good money. 1985, 20-year-old kid making $100. I was laughing. 60 years old, working professionally, trying to feed a family and pay a mortgage on $100 a gig. Garbage now, garbage. And I just refuse to not waste my time. Anyways, guys, a little bit of a negative video, but I'm just really fed up with the whole scene here. And 60 years old, I mean, I still teach. I'm still doing well in terms of my teaching, and I've still got lots of students and stuff. So that part of it is still alive for me, but the gigging scene is really, really difficult, and it's kind of getting me down. So anyways, thanks very much for watching, and I'm going to be putting some more videos out. I have to tell you guys something that surprised the hell out of me. I put a video out yesterday, which none of you saw because it got blocked and copyrighted. And it was a video of me reacting to Chad Smith and Will Ferrell in a drum-off on the Jimmy Kimmel Show in 2014. I thought it would be fun to do a reaction. I had seen that video back in the day, but I hadn't seen it for a long, long time. So my reaction was actually pretty cool because I'd forgotten a lot of the stuff that happened in the video. Anyways, apparently Will Ferrell has a copyright on himself. So you cannot use anything to do with Will Ferrell in any of your videos. Well, I didn't know that. So I put all this effort into the video. And, I made sure that at the end of that, they play Don't Fear the Reaper. I made sure that I cut that out so there's no music in it. And I was concerned about copyright claim. I made sure there's no music. It's just drumming. But because Will Ferrell has a copyright claim on his name and his use in other people's videos of himself, I got not a strike, I got a claim, but I got blocked everywhere. So I just deleted it, which I was disappointed about because I actually put a lot of effort into that video. But what can you do? It's the world of YouTube. Anyways, thanks very much for watching. Let me know in the comments about your band situation. I'm very interested to hear. Thanks very much. See ya. Keep drumming.